Namaste and blessings, and thank you so much for being here. I would like to start this talk with a quote by L.R. Nost. Do not dismay by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended, not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go love intentionally, unconditionally. The broken world waits in the darkness for the light, and the light is you. And now let's just sit with that for a second here, because I can only speak for myself. But when I feel the energy behind this quote, I experience a deep experience of compassion, of receptivity, of embrace and gentleness that arise within me. After having many conversations with many people that I have been meeting during this week or so, there's been a primary question. How can we meet our world with a courageous and loving heart? How can we embrace life, right? When sometimes we're even arming our heart against our own selves. And the truth is that we cannot embrace life if we are turned against our own selves. And how are we going to receive others? Yes. There's so much suffering in the world. And in order for us to truly embrace ourselves and others, we have to remember. We have to awaken. We have to awaken love within us. And to experience love is to have an intention. The intention to embrace it and receive it, offer it, and share it. So how can we receive the world as it is without creating the bad odor? We create all these narratives, these coping mechanisms, these walls of protection by bad odoring. And it's important to then be intentional and go into our hearts in order to open fully and truly first, right? To be able to then receive ourselves and others and the world as it is, without the need to create separation. Because in truth, when we go into this narrative of bad othering people, humans, then we are arming our heart, right? We're arming our heart. And in truth, when we want to experience love, and in order to embrace love, like I said, which means we're embracing life, we're embracing others, we must disarm and open. Bad othering feeds chronic resentment towards our own selves because we bad other us, right? We create this narrative about how we are the bad person. And we feed ourselves stories about how we are less than and how others are more than us. And or we project, right, the stories of other people being less than human, less important, less awakened, less than. We dehumanize people when in truth, the seed of all suffering is the perceived separation. And now, let us remember, right, that we come here to have this experience. We come to the human experience and we create our ego, and we create the defenses, and we create the stories, our personality. We get conditioned, we get programmed, we program and condition ourselves. And here we are, playing roles out of lots of stories, like I like to say. And it's part of the human experience. However, when we awaken, we're being called to put down the swords, to disarm, to put down the walls, and to remember the primary principle, or one of them, which is that the same light force that flows through others and all living beings flows through you. That you are existing within them and they are existing within you. And only then, when we receive and remember that truth and we embrace it and embody, and so now we then give ourselves permission to disarm our heart and to stop the game of separation. We stop dehumanizing people. And we open our hearts and our perspective and our perception to a greater one, to a spiritual understanding. And in that moment is when we remember who is really looking through beyond the programmings, the conditioning, the personality, the ego, the suffering. So the world is waiting for us to show up with an awakened heart. A truly and fully embodied awakened heart it doesn't have the need to create separation. To say that someone or some people are less than. It doesn't have the need to make ourselves believe that we are some kind of super special something, because in truth, we are all special. And we know that. And this is why we choose to act intentionally with love, with compassion. We show up differently. We show up as an awakened heart, as a virtuous human being who remembers the bigger picture. That we are all worthy, that we are all serving a purpose, that we are all here navigating our own path in life and existence throughout the all. This is what it means to truly show up with a loving, compassionate, courageous, and awakened heart. We remember that we all suffer. Doesn't matter who you are, your position in life, your skin color. Nothing really matters. At the end of the day, the truly embodied, awakened heart, right, will act with intention and with deep gnosis, understanding that those we see around us, that those we see behind cameras and all kind of positions, every single living being is working through their own journey in life. And now, let us remember too that there are two dimensions to love. Kinda, or I would say yin and yang, right? One aspect is receptive, it's all inclusive. We all belong. We are all interconnected. There's no separation. And the other aspect of it is fierce, understand what is to protect. It takes action with intentions and spiritual understanding. Holding always a just and fair judgment over themselves and others. So it does not act from victimization or separation, but it knows the bigger picture. And so one thing is to acknowledge the imbalances within ourselves and the world and within the human and the human experience. And another one is to go into separation, where we have to be playing this game of above, below, special, less human, more human. We are experiencing important times in our lives and in the life of humanity.